Hi everybody, it's Alan here. I'm just going to do a quick run through of some kind of rare UK jazz albums. Not all UK jazz artists, but in the main they are. Some of these are quite common in the US, but quite difficult to find here. This is All Night Long, music from the soundtrack. Peru Beck, Hayes, Charlie Mingus, different people are on here. Johnny Dankworth. Nice little thing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these because I'll get through them. Lift of a Scaffold, which is on side 1. Lift of a Gallows or something I think it's called elsewhere. Jazz Track on side 2. So you've got On Green Dolphin Street, Fran Dance and Stella by Starlight on side 2. Miles Davis Sextet. And then the wonderful, wonderful Lift of a Scaffold on side 1 on Fontana. Nice find. This is a ridiculously cheap album, really, for what it is. Horace Silver, Doug Watkins, Don Bird, Hank Mobley, Art Blakey, The Jazz Messengers. This is on Philips Mini Groove. Lovely stuff. This is Modern Jazz at the Royal Festival Hall in London. You got the Don Rendell Sextet. This is 1954. Ken Mills 7 and Tony Crombie Orchestra. They'd say orchestra is like an 8-piece band, so perhaps they hadn't considered using the word octet at that point. A nice thing again, these are rare albums. This is on Decca. Look at that. Lovely stuff. I haven't played all of these as yet. Anyway, Leroy Vinegar Sextet. Leroy Walks. Now the reason he walks is because every single track on here, bar one, has got walk in the title. Walk on, would you like to take a walk on the sunny side of the street? Walking my baby back home, I'll walk alone, I'm walking by the river. Quite a nice thing. It's not easy to find this stuff at all. This is contemporary Vogue. It's quite a nice little album. It's just a great little haul. There's some stunners coming. What's Cooking? Tommy Watt and his orchestra. Again, Tubby Hayes is on here. And if I see anything with Tubby Hayes, I tend to get it. And you just don't see him very often at all. Ronnie Ross, another famous alto sax and flute player. There's all sorts of different people on here. This is far more kind of conventional sounding. Lots of short pieces, but they really sum up the period well. This also is 50s, and look at that wonderful gold Parlophone label. Red Garland at the Prelude. Now this is on a Squire. I believe this was Impulse in America, or Prestige. But yeah, nice find. Quite a rare record over here. 1959, October the 2nd. Let me just show you the label. This is Squire. They did quite a lot of jazz stuff on their label. There have a few 78s like Kenny Graham's Afro-Cubists and stuff. Really hard to get that kind of thing. There's another Red Garland in Bluesville. I believe this may have had a different title originally in the States. This is recorded in April 17th, 1959. This, I think, is the first UK release, which is 1961, I believe. Fairly common in the States, I think. But they're all different pressings. But yeah, that's a nice find. Do I ever see jazz on my travels? No. So when you find stuff like this, you go, I'm having it. Lem Winchester. Now, this cover is really a bit naff. The American one is so much nicer. With Benny Golson. This also is Squire. Yet to hear it, but he's a vibe player. I've heard a couple of bits online I sampled. Arthur Taylor, his name pops up a few times on drums. That's a nice thing. I think that's also from 1959. Yes, as I say, yeah, 59, September 25th. I'm just showing these because I haven't got long on the clock. Ronnie Scott Jazz Club, Volume 3. An unusual flap cover. I think there were 4 volumes in this series. They were recorded at the Criterion restaurant for the BBC Overseas programme London Jazz. And the same kind of people show up. Victor Feldman, he seems to crop up quite often on some of these. And Tony Crombie, amazing drummer. The sound of some of these records is just, especially a couple I've got coming up, it's just amazing. A mono, and I love the clattering of the drums, just lovely stuff. Quite a rare record. This is Eddie Harris, The In Sound on Atlantic. That's an old purple Atlantic. It's in 1965, it's a bit later. That's in superb condition. There are different presses, and again this one's quite a difficult one to find. Now we're going to get to some real... In America, this is, I think it's called Come On or Come In, something like that. The Tony Kinsey Quintet. And again, what makes this interesting is the presence of Ronnie Ross, but also Don Rendell. You know, who also obviously with Rendell and Ian Carr did some amazing records. Anything with him on is worth checking out. Lovely find, never seen that before. Over here these records are a bit more valuable. Here's another one with the flap unfortunately torn up the back. Time Gentlemen Please. This one is a follow-up, I believe, to that one. And now a lot of this stuff is, you know, these were modernist players, people like Tubby Hayes and stuff were modernist. He's not on this. This period there were certain modernist people. It varies between sort of bop and hard bop and stuff like that. But yeah, interesting records. Yet to play this one. I've played some tracks off here. You'll have to let me know. I mean, a lot of this stuff most people haven't heard. I think they kind of, the 60s American jazz is more popular, and then the UK stuff later in the 60s, early 70s. This stuff is a little bit niche perhaps. Modern Jazz Scene, 1956. Now this is on the Tempo label. The Tempo are incredibly hard to find. Very, very difficult to come by. So to find a record on Tempo is exceptional. Lovely label. This is Tubby Hayes and his orchestra on one side. New Jazz Group. These are recorded obviously in 1956. New Jazz Group and the Vic Ash Quartet. Players I haven't heard of. Except for Tubby Hayes, and yeah, that's about it really. Interesting record. This is Tap 17, another Tempo. I actually found 5. Now that is shocking. These are worth a lot of money. A few of them are not. Yeah, there's a few marks on here. Not many, but these records tend to be made exceptionally heavy duty, so scratches don't always sound. But you can see the lineup. A lot of these, I mean, I don't know if you American people can know half these people, but Victor Feldman, of course, Ronnie Scott, Jimmy Ducker, Dizzy Reese, Don Rendell, Tony Crombie, the usual crew. Some of these guys were, for example, Tony Crombie was the house drummer at the Flamingo Club, which is Jeff Kruger's. Because you had Ronnie Scott's and you also had Jeff Kruger's Flamingo. This is another Tempo. A few marks at the beginning of the side I need to check out. Exceptionally rare. Night in Tunisia, Autumn Leaves, what else we got here? Stars Fell in Alabama, Soho Blues. Exceptional records. And this one, very rare, London Jazz Quartet. This is tap 28. Very hard to find. The records I really like to have found were these Jazz Couriers, Tubby Hayes. I mean, these are probably the rarest. I think this is the rarest of all the UK jazz albums from this period. A lot of money in that. But again, it's another tempo. I won't show the label, it's the same. And another, probably the most rare of these, the Transatlantic Alliance. Again, Victor Feldman, Tubby Hayes, Dizzy Reese, Jimmy Tooker. But there's also other people on here. Ronnie Scott. There's different band lineups for different tracks. Apparently they had arguments and stuff in the morning and they changed the band, and people had to go to other sessions like in the afternoon and in the evening and record. I mean, famously, of course, that's how Tubby Hayes died, is overworking, and he got into narcotics, and he was always a heavy drinker. He had an operation and to have a heart valve replacement, and then that was showing to be failing. He had another op, and then he died at the age of 38, I believe, in the early 70s. Yeah, quite sad, but the guy, he was exceptional and was renowned for being the best at the time, at least on the UK scene for that period. He never took any kind of jip from people. He used to stand on stage apparently and just stop the songs and go, "Can't you put some life into this? Come on, people." And make the band start again. Larger than life. Anyway, there you go. I have another Vinyl Finds thing coming up with some unusual stuff in it. Anyway, that's it. It'll be interesting to listen to some of these. Some of these will probably be on their way at some point. Anyway, that's it. Have fun, and I'll see you soon.